Small town. Damn, that's you strictly. Small town. Damn, that's you strictly.
Ladies and gentlemen, spring is here. March Madness is on our heels. Baseball's around the corner, and we are back to give you the real in sports. I'm your co-host, Small Town EP, joined by your host, Wade Julian, live from New York City. I'm, as always, in Atlanta, and you are now tuned into your number one sports talk show, All Things Sports, on the All Things Sports Network. Brought to you by Small Town Productions. Ticker up top, very accurate, and brought to you by ESPN Bet. June, it's been a minute since we've been both on the same screen, man.
Definitely.
I was looking at the edit and everything. I was like, damn, it's been a little while, man. How you been, brother?
Everything is good, bro. Blessed, highly favored. I spent some time in Florida last week, so I got to see family, and it's always good when I'm around my family. So otherwise, man, I have missed talking to you. I missed being on the show, chopping it up, talking sports, bringing the real in sports to the crowd. They had listen, bro. Listen, I say this. I say this. I ain't a shit popper. I'm a humble dude.
Man.
I say this with a lot of love. They had Kai Cenat on ESPN today, fam. And so I think we are at crisis mode right now in sports media and what TV, at least sports media in TV. We're coming to the end of that time, it seems, unless we get a miracle. Listen, I think what Kai Cenat has done is nothing short of amazing. I think he's one of the coolest kids in the world. I think that his work ethic and his admiration to his craft is second to none. I mean, I see this kid on stream every fucking day. This has nothing to do with Kai Cenat. Like, if they offered me to go on ESPN and talk about who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan, I'm doing that every time. And so it's not about that. But we don't know Kai Cenat for his sports takes, right? We know him as his comedic personality and his 24/7 live streams, which is great. Not to say I don't think there's a world where two things can mesh or you can find that middle ground. I'd love to have Kai Cenat on this show, you know what I'm saying, and chop it up with him and talk about a bunch of bullshit. But I think ESPN set a standard many, many years ago, right? And so it's just a little different. Stephen A. Smith, to him, I love this guy. This is somebody I grew up watching. I admire him till this day. He just signed a 5-year, $100 million deal extension with ESPN
Big money.
to be on TV every day. And
big money.
To have the responsibility and platform that he does, and to manage it in the way that he does as responsible. When I say responsibly, I think that for the grand scheme of things and the serious things, he is responsible. Does he do it for TV? Absolutely, and that's why he's getting paid $20 million a year. But I say all that to say, bro, I hope that whoever is listening and watching us and takes the time out of their day, whether it's to catch 5 minutes, whether it's to drop something in the comments, whether it's to listen to us and be entertained by what we have to say because they come to us and appreciate our takes. I mean, one, I first say thank you, and the love is 100% reciprocated because I've been doing this for some years now, and I've been shown love, and I appreciate it every time I can. And I ain't even come on here to try to do all this. This is kind of just hit me when you said, we ain't been here in a minute. This is just my raw emotion. But we have to be the guys, EP. It is our responsibility um, to make sure that we're bringing the real in sports to these people 2 times a week, 3 times during football season, and with all the extra little content that we may create. Um, we got to put the cape on, bro, because it's getting treacherous out there. With that being said, fam, what's on the docket, man?
Treacherous is the term. Treacherous is the term. Hey, we just got through the NFL Combine. Draft is a couple weeks away. Like I said, spring is here, and a lot to go over. A lot of combine talk to go through. People are saying Shador is gonna fall. We're
Ooh.
wondering who's going number one. There was a controversy with Abdul Carter. People saying he is a true number one. He isn't a true number one. I want to start with Shador. Do you think he falls past the 1, 2, 3 slot, June?
I don't. I don't. I mean, I think it is very possible. And we saw a tweet floating around the internet. It said, "Hey, listen, the NFL is not ready for this. They've never seen a top 5 draft pick who's a quarterback who is black but already rich." And I'm not sure that they really know how to handle that. I kind of agree with that tweet. You know what I'm saying? Like the Giants got a chance to make it happen. Trade up and go number 1, go number 2, get Cam Ward or get Shador Sanders. That should have been the plan for 6 months now. We're seeing Jackson Dart might go there. We're seeing they might pass on Shador. And this is all hearsay, right? This hasn't happened. We'll give them by the end of April to say what they got to say. But the fact that the notion is that Shador Sanders can possibly, I saw Lance Zerloin for ESPN mock draft had Shador Sanders getting drafted at 29 to the Cleveland Browns. That means they would have had skipped over him and went and got him on the next time they were able to pick. And 28 other teams would have therefore skipped over a possible franchise game-changing quarterback. Now, is he that? I guess that's to be determined, right? I think we saw enough at Colorado and Jackson State from these last 3 years that we can say Shador Sanders will be a successful NFL quarterback. I think we've seen enough to say that. Franchise changer, best quarterback of your history, that's a stretch, and that's why we draft on potential, right? But to have a quarterback problem in this league, and when you look at the top 5, you got Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants, Patriots, Jacksonville. 3 of those teams need a quarterback. Shador Sanders was a number 1 or number 2 quarterback prospect in 2024, 2025, the whole year. Draft season comes around, and now, there's chitter chatter here. There's the combine that actually, gives teams the opportunity to meet you face to face, ask you all the crazy questions they feel necessary. And if you play, evaluate your play. He chose not to play. He chose to do the interviews. And hey, maybe the reality is the guy don't have a personality that teams really want to mesh with. And I'm not saying that about him. I don't know. But where in the mix did it disconnect, and because Cam Ward hasn't done anything differently, and he also didn't perform at the combine but did the interviews much like Shador, and he's still set to be the number 1 or number 2 pick in this draft. So I'm not sure what it is about Shador Sanders, obviously coming from the lineage of Father Prime, and his persona, who he was in this league. Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner, get it, but big mouth, big personality, bigger than football, right? I don't know if that's necessarily even fair to compare his son to him because, Dion and Prime is a one of one. And Shador's a quarterback, right? There's a different level of maturity you have to have as a leader of a franchise. So I'm just, again, I'm not even I'm not questioning you or have a question. I'm just wondering along this line, where did the disconnect come? Because to me, Shador Sanders is the number two quarterback prospect right behind Cam Ward out of the University of Miami.
And that's what they're saying. I mean, there's a mock draft out there saying that the Giants do make a trade with Tennessee and go get either Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. But then there's other people saying that the best available on the board first pick is Abdul Carter. My man's was squatting 610 pounds. Um,
Yeah.
on Twitter at the combine. How do you feel about him? I know he has a little bit a little I don't want to call him a setbacks, but there's he has
Yeah, he got hurt.
some injury. Yeah,
It's
he
good
got
to him.
hurt. He got hurt, and they're saying that his draft stock could not plummet but fall a little bit. But there's a lot of people still high on
Yeah.
Abdul Carter and saying he's best available.
Me on Abdul Carter, I do think you can argue he's the best player in this draft, right? But between him, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, these are some of the best players in this draft. The ankle injury to me is not a big deal. I mean, it's a something he doesn't need to have a procedure on, and he can. And whether he does or doesn't has no impact on him missing time, getting ready for the season. But when you have a need, the need is more important. When you have a need at quarterback, let me say that, the need becomes more important than anything else. If you have a need at corner, you have a need at O line, and you have a need at defensive line depth, or you don't have a need at defensive line depth, but O line, corner, maybe you need a linebacker. You can go and take the best player available. Like that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. You go take the best player with the number one pick, and you go fill the need in the second round or trade up and come back to the first. Figure that out in a second. Take the best player. When you need a quarterback, much like the Titans do, much like the Browns do, top two picks in the draft, you have to address that need with the best option available. Now, if they believe they can go get Quinn Ewers or Jackson Dart a little later and they think that's going to be their guy, I'm not saying he won't be a guy, but I think that's a little backward when it comes to the logic. Miles Garrett is arguably the best player in football right now. And he wants to leave his team because his team's no good. You know why? You know why? Because they don't have a quarterback. Because when they do get good quarterback play from that position, they compete. The Browns compete. They can pass rush. They can stop you on the outside with some good defensive backs. Their linebackers are athletic. They got a good O line for the last 5 years. Jerry Jeudy just had a Pro Bowl season. Like, bro, you need a quarterback. And so, to me, it's ass backward to address anything else when the need is quarterback. When the need is everything else, take the best player. I'm not mad at that. Abdul Carter absolutely deserves to be the number one pick in this draft. There's no argument against that unless Tennessee keeps the pick. They have to, like, Tennessee. If I'm a Tennessee fan, if we don't take a quarterback, I have no more hope for my franchise. I mean, listen to this. Just in the last few seasons, they have fired their coach, Vrabel, who, by the way, was one of the highest or highly touted coaching candidates coming into this year. They let go of their GM, who just got started there, and they drafted Will Levis.
Mayo man.
Hey, the past is the past. What can we do? let me double check that I have this right, EP. With the number one pick in the draft, what can we do? Hey, guess what? There's two great quarterback prospects, even three with Jackson Dart if you want to throw him in there, but two kind of step out more than the third. If Tennessee goes and doesn't take the quarterback here, I need answers. There's no that'll be more egregious than Eric Spoelstra playing Terry Rozier 40 minutes. But
I think they will. I think Brian Callahan. I think he
is
knows.
sick of Will Levis, right? Me too. I think we've seen enough on the sideline, him cursing him out and asking what the hell he's doing to feel like, you know what? Hey, yeah, can we draft a quarterback, please? An athletic one who
you
can
know,
make every throw?
and maybe he feels as if, hey, I had some success with Joe Burrow, and maybe I see some of the same
It should.
characteristics in the Shador. So let me go get let me go get Shador, and I agree. I do kind of see Cam going to the Browns, which is you just kind of spoke on them not having a quarterback, and when they do have a quarterback, they compete. They can pass rush. I mean, maybe Miles Garrett rescinds his.
Not so fast. Not so fast.
Maybe Miles Garrett's like, oh, you
Maybe
guys are
they
getting
maybe they
Cam.
tell him, hey, I don't give a fuck what you think. You're the starting defensive end for the Browns. You know.
That's also an option for
But
them.
but but if you can get 2 first-round draft picks, I mean, in a loaded class, do it. You know.
And then Jackson Dart going 3 as a mock draft is predicting right now. You spoke real quick on Jackson Dart. He had some success early in the season. Later in the season, he seemed to be frustrated and his body language, I will say, was a bit poorer on the field as he was playing. But 3 to New York, they need a quarterback.
That
If they
that'd
can
be
trade up.
beautiful to me. Won't lie.
Yeah, if they can trade up to 2 and get Cam, I don't know who wants to go to New York necessarily. But I mean, the last time that the Giants took a quarterback from Ole Miss, it turned out pretty well for them. You know what I mean? So I could definitely see Jackson Dart going 3 to the Giants. So I guess the consensus is that everyone has Shador as the first quarterback off the board. I guess that was kind of a question.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I know I
I
said
mean,
it. I said it with like a statement, but it was kind of a question.
say that one more time. Go ahead.
So we have Shador as the first quarterback coming off the board. Are,
Cam
are
Ward.
we
I
in
mean,
agreement?
I got Cam Ward. I got Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is the best quarterback we saw last season. And I also think that just based on the little bit I know about these guys personally, and just off the videos that I've seen from off-season workouts and little things, I'm a Hurricanes fan, so we have a little bit of behind the scenes of like the YouTube or access videos. And Cam Ward is a dog. Like, and not to say Shador isn't, but I think he's just a step up as far as that alpha male, as far as that ready to take it on, as far as like leading a locker room. Pause because that sounded crazy, but yeah, I got Cam Ward one with Shador right there. I mean, Shador is a phenomenal talent. It's my thing is he does lack a bit of athleticism, right? He I don't know that he's as elusive as Joe Burrow is, and he can work on that, right? But nonetheless, it was disheartening to see, Shador Sanders going number 29 to the Browns. Like, to me,
Hey yo,
there's a lot of undertone there, is what I'll say.
yeah, that sounds fucking wild. That
It's
sounds
crazy.
crazy.
Hey, real quick, 10 minutes ago, about 20 minutes ago, I don't know the context. Charles Barkley must have said something on TNT about Kendrick Perkins, but Kendrick Perkins on Twitter said, hey, at NBA on TNT, might want to tell that senior citizen Charles Barkley that I'll be around. When he see an idiot or a fool in person, make sure he keeps that same energy. He can come playing with me if he wants to, and I'm gonna address his ass like the numbers on his house. Straight from the 409, homeboy, and we bar none and fade all. Hashtag Texas boy. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Man, we got some media beef. Hey, sports media might be in the right spot. EP, I might have been talking too fast. We might be, we might be right where we need to be right now. We about to get celebrity boxing on TNT.
The internet's just making the world a lot smaller.
Hey, I
That's
got a
really all that's
proposal.
happening.
NBA All Star Weekend. Let the media get some celebrity boxing matches in.
Oh,
Shit.
energy. Yeah. So
Shit.
do that to fill in the 35 minutes of commercials and commentary that you
Right.
guys have.
And Mr. Beast talking down a dude's neck while he's trying to hit a $10,000 shot.
No, nobody wants to see Jello perform. Anyways, um,
Ooh.
um, would you agree that and his name is slipping my mind right now. Boise State running back, first running
Ashton
back,
Genty.
Ashton Genty off the board as the first running back off the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and bro, call me like, you have film, right? You have like deep dive film. You have like, when you're scouting and really evaluating draft prospects, you're going to look at tendencies. You're going to look at, how they played at home. You're going to look at how they play on the road. You're going to look at how they played against a defense of this caliber, vice versa. To me, is no other type of tape that you could show me to
Man is a
convince me
killer.
not to take Ashton Genty. You know what I'm
Man is a
saying?
killer.
First. Like if there's a running back available. Now, semantics, and a little bit of context added, yes, I could see another running back coming off before where they know that if they take him, they're going to be able to get this guy right over it. Like one of those situations. But I mean, a team with a need for running back that wants to draft a running back that takes a running back in the first round, I think that running back should be Ashton Genty.
I believe the mock draft has him as the only running back selected in the
He
first
should be.
round.
Should
Yeah,
be.
the only running back selected in the first round by the Cowboys at
I know
12.
that he's from. I don't wait. Matter of fact, I think he's from the Dallas area, but they were definitely saying they wanted to replace, Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott's era with to me. Listen, brother, I think you guys have bigger fish to fry in Dallas, and running back is not going to save your season. You guys can go find some running back depth in the second or third round, but you guys need to go get you a guy in that first round.
You guys need to go. They need to go get them a guy in the front office. But Ashton Ashton Gentry, originally from Jacksonville, Florida, but spent his high school career
Oh,
in
okay.
Frisco, Texas, at
There
Lone
we go.
Star High School. Um, yeah, I think that's definitely the first running back off the board. The man's a killer. He don't even got to squat to get to get in stance before the snap goes off. We've seen, I guess, in the last, I would say, decade or so, a lot of linemen go, like a lot of linemen go, defensive line, defensive tackles, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. A lot of them going in the first round.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the first offensive lineman that we'll see go in the first round?
Hmm. Um, I think I'm slipping his name right here. We could see. There's a guy from LSU. I forgot his
Will
name.
Campbell.
Yes,
Will
Will
Campbell.
Campbell could be the first guy that we see off that board. Probably. What do you got?
Ah, I really am a little high on Armand Mambu from Mizzo. I like his style. I like the way he plays. Um, Very strong, very aggressive. I don't think that he drops to 13 to the Dolphins as the mock draft is predicting right now.
Yeah,
I could see him going a little higher, maybe to like 10 to Chicago. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
Um,
just think he's a little, and I'm not mad. I think we can see that. But he's definitely more on the athletic side, smaller guard, 6'4". So I'm not mad at that. But when you got, Kelvin Banks, you got Will Campbell, Josh Simmons, Ohio State, it's some guys in this draft. It's some guys in this draft. And there's always a bunch of, offensive linemen. And just because you're the number one offensive lineman taken, I mean you're gonna produce the best, So I do like that sleeper pick though. I respect it.
as far as defensive edge, on the other side of the ball, I mean, you always see a bunch of Georgia Bulldogs going in the
Yeah.
draft. How do you feel about Jalen Walker and Mikael Williams going?
I Philly. I feel like Philly gonna try to get Mikael Williams for real. Michael Williams. Philly has to figure out uh, if they can jump up because we're not gonna see. I don't think we'll see Michael Williams too far down the line in that first round with the 32nd pick. Um, I think the good thing though is that there is depth. There's depth here at this position. You got Landon Jackson, you got James Pierce from Tennessee, who's a listen. James Pierce, EP. I don't know who's going to draft him, but whoever gets James Pierce is getting a mother loving dog. I'm talking about he could be better than Abdul Carter, like for
Whew.
real. And it's not like Abdul Carter's raw as fuck. Like let's not get it twisted, but I mean 6'5", 240, 4'4" speed, you know, just flying off the edge. with a killer mentality. I'm really high on James Pierce Jr. And then Shamar Stewart. This kid is he fucking balled out. I'll say that he balled out at Texas A&M, and he was a big part of their front seven and the success that they were able to see.
Shamar Stewart projected to go in the middle of the first round, and you just said James Pierce, Tennessee, going. They got him going later to Baltimore, which.
Mm.
So keep
Hey,
these, keep
that'd
these,
be crazy.
keep these edge rushers out the AFC, bro. God damn.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Um, I think the biggest, or I guess the position that has, I guess, the biggest question mark, in my opinion, would be the cornerback position. Um, eh, we don't know what Travis Hunter is going to do, whether he's going to play both sides of the ball, play wide receiver, play cornerback. We'll see whatever team drafts him and whatever they want to do. I want to leave him out of the conversation right now because he's kind of an outlier.
Yeah,
What other wide receiver would you say,
corner,
or I
corner.
mean, yeah, corner. What other corner, and we'll go to wide receiver after this corner, do you have going off the board first?
Will Johnson, Michigan. Uh, I could go on and on. It's dominant corner. It's dominant corner. He's arguably the best corner in college football. And I want to give credit to Travis Hunter, our Heisman Trophy winner, who
Yeah.
showed excellence at the position and also was able to show excellence on the offensive side. But for somebody to play this position full time, a 6'2" running a 4'3",
Yeah.
I like those odds right there. Michigan had a really really a pretty good season. I mean, for what it's worth and where their quarterback situation is, and the lack thereof of throwing ability, they were able to play smash mouth, run the ball football, and really good defense, and that won them some games. So yeah, I'm and they beat Ohio State, right? So I'm for Will Johnson being that second cornerback off the board there.
What do you think about receiver? Who's the first receiver to go off the board?
Top of my head, I it's McMillan from what is it, Arizona? McMillan from Arizona. Golden. Okay, so Golden, Burden, and Egbuka. I
Mm-hmm.
think that if I look at the receivers available, and then I go back to the draft order, let me see, because it's a lot of politics. It's need, right? Not necessarily or fit too, right? If you have two good receivers and you need a speedy guy or a slot guy, you're gonna take Burden. But if you want that, you need a number one receiver, you might go McMillan. So I think Travis Hunter should stop. If the Giants are unserious, and they want to go corner wide receiver over quarterback, I could see him going there three. But I think that we should see the first three teams addressing the quarterback position or trading out of the top five. So New England, Travis Hunter, and then Jacksonville. I could see Jacksonville going after um, their number one wide receiver right there. And at that point, I would go McMillan because to me he offers the Igbuka is really good too. I do want to say from Ohio State, I'm high on him, but I'll probably say McMillan if they're gonna go and treat Trevor Lawrence with their guy.
The mock draft has your Colts, Drew, in drafting the first tight end off the board.
Yeah,
Uh, Tyler Warren from Penn State. Is
yeah.
that the compliment that Anthony Richards needs?
I think he needs the support from his fucking front office and coaching staff. I mean, reports of signing Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, like, listen, bro, let the kid focus and get him the help he needs. Let him work with Josh Allen's trainer and Josh Allen himself personally and get right for the season. If he fails and this project just blows up in our face, we gotta bite that bullet. We have to. I'm not a fan of. By the way, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Walking Miracles. Shout out to JBJ. Um, like Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I lost my whole train of thought. I was doing a little shout out. Where was I? Where was I?
Anthony Richards support from the
Yeah,
front
yeah, yeah,
office.
yeah. Thank you. If you're gonna draft a quarterback in the top five, I think you have to go all in, right? And so the benching, we put this season behind us. I think it was necessary, even though I disagreed with it. I think they might have stretched it a little bit, but it was necessary as far as a wake up call, as far as we got to get something right, something's got to change. Cool. We're here now in season three, technically two because he was hurt season one. I think that he needs to feel that, bro, whatever you need is at your disposal. We're going to give you no excuse to fail. And if you do, all we can say is, bro, we tried. You ain't it. You ain't him. And I will be glad. That's crazy. I would never be glad to see one of the players on my team fail. I would be accepting of Anthony Richardson having a number one wide receiver, drafting Tyler Warren for him, having Jonathan Taylor, all pro type of running back in the backfield with a decent O line, and seeing that fail with everything we gave him and tried with him and the patience I could say, you know what, bro? I could have, you could see it could have came. You watched the tape at Florida, but this could also just flip in 360, bro, and this guy just becomes a second coming of Josh Allen. And for that to happen, there has to be a belief and a faith in him that's genuine. And it doesn't necessarily feel genuine right now. And that's kind of what's unfortunate in this microwave, time we're in. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. And you kind of just got to roll with the punches here. So hopefully Anthony Richardson can focus up, get ready for next season, ignore the critics and the distractions and just focus on being the best quarterback the Colts need. And I think everything else will fall into place after that. To go back to having number 14 Tyler Warren mock draft to the Colts, that's the consensus pick with the fans. I think it's like him and Malachi Stark, safety out of Georgia, are two big needs we need to address. But also, we need to address needs in free agency. So I think Chris Ballard with a very deep safety class, and please, Chris Ballard, if you ever listen to the All Things Sports podcast, don't listen to what I said about you last year. I still feel that way, but it's that was then, this is now. Listen, bro, go sign Javon Holland, dog. We need a safety. Go sign Javon Holland. That being said, I wouldn't be mad. I would actually be pretty excited to see Tyler Warren fall to 14 and us be able to secure him in Indy. Put him, I don't know if he could rock that 44 because, man, Super Bowl champ, you know what I'm saying? My boy DC Dallas Clark with some respect there. But put him in any number and in any condition, I think Tyler Warren is a baller. So that'd be big. It's a big security blanket, like you mentioned, for a young quarterback to have.
Ooh. The Chiefs just traded Joe Tooney for a fourth round pick.
How you
Mock
feel
draft.
about that one?
Oh man, I guess
Confusing.
confusing, but I guess I gotta have some faith. I gotta
Fair.
believe that
That's
this is
fair.
all gonna work out. Mock draft has us taking offensive tackle from Oregon, Josh Connolly Jr. at the 31st pick. Which, hey, if there's one thing that the Super Bowl showed me is that goddamn, I need an offensive line. I need that shit.
Yeah.
I need that shit in the wild card week. Honestly,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I gotta
Absolutely.
believe that they traded away a 5-time Super Bowl champion, if I'm not mistaken. 5-time Super Bowl champion. Yeah, three with the Patriots, 2 with the Chiefs. Away for a 4th round pick because they have something up their
Up
sleeve.
their sleeve. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just gotta
I mean,
believe.
this is something you can believe, though, as a fan of that franchise, knowing their tendencies and seeing what history has shown, right? I mean, the Chiefs ain't never going to do some crazy bullshit, right? It's all going to make sense. And the dust will settle soon. We'll see what it was. I mean, I don't even like to. The power of tongue is very very powerful, and I want to say before I say this, I do not wish this. I actually hope differently, and I hope for a very successful and healthy season for Joe Tooney. But maybe they know something about his health we don't know. Maybe they know a minor detail about what can impede his play going into this year that they felt the fourth was worth it, and we can find something at 4. To not necessarily replace. You probably replace that in the first round, but there is something at 4 you guys will probably like, and you needed that extra 4. So I can jump and scream and say, "Yo, Joe Tooney, bro, what?" But I'm not those guys, and that's where the degrees come into play. Like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about here. I ain't giving y'all no bullshit, but I ain't a GM, and I can't tell you how dude did at practice yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's two different worlds. So I'll stay in my lane, and we'll be patient, because yeah, I do think the Chiefs probably have something up under their sleeve with that.
And we will see. You got anything else you want to go over as far as combine is concerned before we go into a little bit of NFL free agency and go into the NBA?
Nah, man. Shout out to them, Hurricanes at the combine. Kobe George out of Lauderhill, deep side. Shout out to Xavier
Yeah.
Restrepo, our Puerto Rican bro, and Cam Ward. You know what I'm saying? QB1 for, bro. We have a possible number 1 overall pick who was a Heisman candidate in 2025. I mean, I could cry about it, but we'll just celebrate when he gets drafted.
Max Crosby gets the bag, and we're gonna get to a couple other bags in the second, June. But Max Crosby gets the bag, making him the highest ever NFL non-quarterback in NFL history over in Vegas. Much deserved, you think, June?
Much deserved. I mean, I guess. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sounding like a KC fan, ain't it? Listen, Mad Max is from what I hear, one of the hardest working dudes in the league, bro. And
Yeah.
like, it's like a relentless will. And then obviously, like, knowing his story. I mean, Darren Waller was one of those guys that the Raiders had who dealt with, a lot of trauma in the past. And Max Crosby's one and the same, bro. And he's a very imperfect person who made uh greatness out of his situation. And it's so crazy, bro. Like, EP, bro. I'm such a regular human. Like, that's what I want everybody to know about me. If I could ever, like, what do you want people to know about you, bro? I'm a regular guy, and like, the little things excite me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still can appreciate stupid shit. Growing up for me, bro, like, SC featured 60 Minutes. These were things that, like, this is Make a Wish Foundation. Like, these were things that we grew up on, and the dreams were created from these segments, and the inspiration for me that came from these segments are sometimes second to none. And I say all that because, like, someone looks at Max Crosby, and bro, it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just 100 million to this guy who's a sack leader and a crazy white boy who, talks with some slang and has a bunch of tattoos. Like, bro, the man was fucked up out here, bro, and realized how much he could change his life through football. Put his head down, got what he needed, made it, and now did even more to, bro, $100 million check. That's never gonna be light, especially in football. Basketball, they kind of giving that shit away right now, but in football, a team tells you we got 100 million for you, you a special player, bro. And so, I just want to shout out to Max Crosby for his journey and what he's been able to do, because that's the type of shit sports are great for. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come on the internet, we make all these jokes, and NBA Twitter, and NBA Centel, and NFL Gronk News, or Gronk, whatever the fuck, Ghetto Gronk. Shout out to them, but it's really about the story, and it's really about the person under the helmet and in the jersey, because these dudes a lot of times don't come from the most fortunate situations, and these sports are their ticket. And so to see them prosper, and then years later prospering still, is, to me, is deeper than just like, oh, they balled out, oh, he sucks. Like, come on, man, we got to have more substance to us as humans, and not be so like so ignorant all the time. There's always time for jokes, and there's always time for the bullshit, but like, sometimes we got to stop and really really think about the talent that these athletes, I would say, bless us with on TV, because we get to watch this.
1,000%, 100% agree. Saquon Barkley also gets the bag.
Yeah,
Giants
bro.
still catching strays in the offseason. Um, Joe, Joe Shane, count your days, buddy. Count your days. Shout out to the scout in that Hard Knocks episode that was like, I can't really say much because I'm just a scout and I just got hired, but we should not be doing this right now. That scene, it just aged so gracefully. Saquon Barkley gets a bag from the Eagles, 2 years, 42.1, 41.2, one of those
40. Yeah, I
40.
think it was 41.2. I think.
Um, over those 2 years, I think it was something like 25 M's guaranteed. Um, I mean, shout out to Saquon, completely deserved. I mean, my man was jumping over people backwards. So, I mean, I think we kind of all figured he would get that extension this offseason.
Nah,
Aaron,
but they shitted for real though. The Eagles really did their thing and said, you know what, they're gonna do it right now. Let's really show these motherfuckers how to treat. You know what I'm saying? Go win a bowl and treat you good. That's to me, that's the Eagles like shitting on the Giants right there.
no, for shit show.
That's shitting on
Yeah,
the Giants.
for shit show. Take it up to your neck of the woods. Aaron Glenn is breaking it, blowing it all apart.
Pause. Yeah, blowing up part. Okay, okay.
Blowing it all apart is
It
low.
was a little slow. My fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
Essentially, he came in and he's saying, "Hey, look, all that bullshit y'all had going on before, we not doing none of that no more." Told Aaron Rodgers, "Yeah, we're gonna go a different direction. You got to pack your bags." And then Devontae Adams, yeah, you too, buddy, you too. Who?
That's your boy, right? Nah. I think they cut Aaron and they hit Vontae with like, you see what's going on, right? All right.
That's like that scene in the movies when one guy gets snuffed and then the homeboys looks at his friend like, "Oh, all right, bet, say less."
Yeah.
Which, hey, I think that Devontae should just make his way back to Green Bay, cut ties with Aaron Rodgers at this point because my man's isn't getting you anywhere. I know y'all best friends and it's cool and it's fun, but it's not. It's not a good recipe at this point. I think he makes his way. I think he should. I don't think he will. I think he should make his way back to Green Bay, hang out with Love over there, with Jordan Love, and I think that relationship would be fruitful. I think he just needs to make his way back over to the cheese state over in
Hey, look,
Wisconsin.
I'm sorry. I loved him. I loved him.
How do you feel about Devontae Adams? Do you have anywhere you think that he should land, might land, could land?
Don't let me say Kansas City.
Hey man, I had my arms wide open when the rumors first came out.
Hey, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, we saw what they did to DeAndre Hopkins, and they made him, a Super Bowl contender, right? They gave him a great opportunity for the end of his career, or what looks to be close to the end of his career. I think that Devontae Adams is more impactful. I think he's still better than DeAndre Hopkins, and it's kind of like they're both at that point of their career where it could go either way. But I, for me, I just think that Devontae Adams has to go to a stable situation with some sort of promise at quarterback, right? I mean, and it's tough. There's not a lot of options in this league when you talk about stable situation, good quarterback. It's few and far between. So where does he end up? It's tough, man. I think my gut is saying Kansas City just for that odd. Like I could see that happening, but I think it's a little too early right now. We'll wait for the draft and free agency. Well, free agency is what we're talking about, but we'll wait for the draft to, I guess, let some chips settle because that's where you really want to address your future needs. And well, shit. Then again, free agency starts, I think, in the next like week and a half or so, right before the draft. So
Yeah.
it's tough. I don't have the answer, is what I'll say. Devontae Adams to me is not the most important free agent of this class. So like I think he'll figure what his best fit is and start talking to those teams.
Yeah, hey, if you ask Jerry Jones, he doesn't believe that free agency or the draft is a place to fill up spots and slots
Hey, man.
that you need, you know. So, hey, Tyler Lockett cut in Seattle. DK Metcalf then subsequently.
Yeah, bro.
I want to say it was a cause and effect type of situation, but
Uh, uh, yeah, I think it was clear as day. He said, "Oh, word." Yeah, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here as well. DK Metcalf acts out of Seattle. In the latest trend of players asking now, we talked about Miles Garrett earlier. Even though Cleveland was like, we got no intent of letting him go, which I
Pat
hear
Riley
you.
said the same thing about Jimmy Butler. What the fuck wrong with that boy?
Which I hear you, man. But go get your first, a couple of your first round picks back and fucking fix something and because just let him go, bro. Because he doesn't want to be there anymore. And I fully believe that he's one of those players that will say, "Oh, word." I just ain't playing. I got a couple M stashed away. I could probably, I could sit till it actually becomes uncomfortable
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, any ass outs or cuts that kind of had you taken back a little bit in the last couple of days?
Not really, bro. I think football is it's one of our more cutthroat sports, bro. If you need money, if you gonna cut a nigga, you know what I'm saying? If you see something you like in free agency that can't get right now, you gonna cut him. If you think that you paying him a little too much and he didn't perform as well as you like him, you're gonna cut him. So it's like cuts don't necessarily surprise me. Um, Darius Slay, like my dad, he was like, What was the reason? It's like, bro, the Eagles trying to find a new, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to probably make that room for Miles Garrett. Real shit. So
Mm.
Darius Slay, I mean, yeah, thanks, bro. You won a Super Bowl with us. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? You at the ending of your career, you're not, prime Darius Slay anymore. Go find another home and contribute over there. But with this bread, we might could do something else, And so like it typically makes sense. Uh and for me so far it has made sense, so I'm not necessarily surprised. And then you met, I guess the DK Metcalf was like one of the surprising things, but then again you're like, wait, I just got an alert 25 minutes ago that says they're cutting Tyler Lockett, so I'm not it's not that shocking, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Very fair, very fair. I want to take it over to the NBA where post All Star break, it's been a lot going on, and we talk a lot about the the Oklahoma City Thunder, June, and their positioning in the West right now, being the
Right.
number one seed. But since the All Star break and since the Luca trade, the Lakers are since number two seed. And I mentioned Oklahoma City because if I'm not mistaken, best record in the league, right? Nah, sorry, Cleveland is. I apologize. But best record in the West, at the very least. And last year we had high hopes for them, and Dallas kind of just was like, "Hey, shut that shit up. We don't want to hear that." So my question to you is: despite being 11 games back of the Thunder for the first place spot in the West, are the Lakers a team to beat in the West right now?
That's a good question, bro. I'm not gonna lie, and it's not a question I would have thought would have been a serious question a month ago. You know what I'm saying? A month and a
Yeah.
half ago. The season has totally flipped for them. They're not the team to beat, unfortunately, though. But it is something you consider, right? Like I look at it's LeBron and Luka Doncic, bro, and what we're seeing from LeBron right now is, I mean, bro, he's playing. His MVP, his last MVP that he won, he's putting up those numbers right now. And obviously, we got inflation in the league, and scoring means a little more, and this, that, and the third. But LeBron is doing it at 40 right now, and so Luca is seemingly catching stride and feeling more comfortable game in and game out in LA, and with his teammates. We're seeing solid play from Jackson Hayes, who they're big and they couldn't get big. So there's the issue though for me. I mean, Jackson Hayes, like, he has got some solid play, but Jameson 55 that comes in it, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They gotta figure that one out. Somebody gotta buy out. I don't know, bro. Free agency, something, G League, because I don't know. And rest in peace, that boy. That boy got bodied the other day. I forgot who it was. Jesus, that boy got. Oh man, somebody put that boy on a mother loving poster for real, for real. Yeah, nonetheless. But I say all that to say I don't think the Lakers are the team to beat. To me, they still have to prove themselves as like, really competitively tough and someone you could say, okay, you know what, in 7 games, oof, right now they're showing that. Right now we're seeing glimpses of that, but it's only been about a week and a half, 2 weeks that they really been flowing at this rate. So I just still need a little bit of time. Don't get me wrong, OKC is the team to beat, right? Like best record in the West, 2nd year straight, MVP candidate on their team will probably win it. Best defense in the league, or one of the best defenses in the league. I think they got number one. You know,
Hmm.
all of that is a reason I would say they are the team to beat, which they are. But the jury's still out on them. You know what I'm saying? OKC, like shit. OKC LA to me is a good series. They match up well with them, and also experience goes a long way in the playoffs, bro. Not being there, not having been there, done it before. A lot of that raises the pressure, or
Hmm.
keeps you a little calmer in certain situations. So we'll find out what OKC really about this year. Um, but I do think it is a little too premature to say the Lakers are the team to beat in the
Golden State in the West has also been on a crazy run
West.
since Jimmy Butler came to town. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, they were on the verge of being outside of the play-in, and now they're sixth seed in the West. I don't want to say firmly in the playoffs because they're tied with Minnesota right now. But they are the sixth seed. They do have a top six playoff spot, and they are looking. I mean, I was telling you this pre-show. I don't know what it is. Every time I want to bet against Steph Curry, and I don't bet Warriors games very often, but when I do, Steph Curry wants to drop no less than 30 points on the other team. I bet Magic money line last week, Thursday, Friday, and Magic up 17 at the half. I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm not even watching this the rest of the game. And the chat starts blowing up, and I'm like, damn, what's going on? And Steph Curry's on, has like 38 points and like with 10 minutes left in the third quarter. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh shit.
yeah,
What the fuck is
yeah,
going
man.
on?
It's like Jaws.
Did it, did it, did it, did it. Um, what is it about this Warriors team, June, that may give the franchise and the fan base some hope as far as making a playoff run this year?
I think that through all the bullshit and the drama and the pettiness and the Instagram posts and the comments here and there, I think we got lost, bro. Jimmy Butler is a fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? That's still a guy, bro. Like that's still a guy who goes to most teams in the league and becomes the best player on that team. He's playing
Yeah.
with one of the best players we've ever seen. Like top 10 best player ever, Stephen Curry. Number two
Mm.
option, Jimmy? Oh yeah. Let me see that. A prime number two option, Jimmy? That's probably his favorite thing to do. You
Yeah.
know, he don't got to hold the whole workload. He just got to make some cuts, hit people cutting, play really great defense, and try hard, and it's gonna fall into place. And so, I think with his addition, bro, it just brings so much more life to the Warriors with the defensive side of things. Him and Draymond, the IQ they have, and their will to play defense, I think alone separates them. You look at offensively. I mean, Jimmy Butler's tough to guard one on one at the end of the day. And
Yep.
when Steph's on the court, sending an extra body at Jimmy, it's not the best idea. He also draws a lot of contact and a lot of fouls that gets his team in the bonus, puts him at the line, gives them more opportunities to score. And with all that being said, this is only giving more room, more confidence, more will, everything to Steph Curry. I mean, it's just making his life easier. And so I think we're seeing that. And the boy, I remember seeing the tweets and the people in the group chats. Why they paid Jimmy 2 years, 60 a year? He not worth that. He listen, bro. When you impact winning in the fashion that Jimmy Butler has over the past 7 years, undeniable. He's still doing it. 9-1 since they traded for him. I was told the Warriors got worse.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. The Warriors are playing at the Barclays Center right now. It is halftime. They are down five. The score is 60-55. Brooklyn up at halftime. Jimmy Butler, 11 points, 4 for 6 from the field, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. He is the only starter on that Golden State Warriors squad that is in the plus as far as plus minus is concerned right now in this game at +7. So as you were saying, when you're impacting winning, 60 a year for 2 years, hey man, here you go.
Yeah, yeah, bro.
Would
Yeah.
you like fries with that as well, sir?
Put the fries in the bag.
Oh man. A couple of other games in the NBA going on right now. Pacers at Hawks. Both these teams love to just run cardio all game for 4 quarters, 12 minutes a quarter. Scores 56-63. Pacers on top on the road. And Celtics doing it to Philly in Boston right now, 64-46.
Philly ain't worth a goddamn.
Joel Embiid out for the remainder of the season. I should probably bring that up now that I just remembered that. Now that I'm thinking of, yeah, I don't know what's going on in Philly. Paul George says he's not potting no more because he's trying to focus on a championship wherever that's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen in
Yeah.
Philly, but focus on it, bro. Put a picture on the wall before you go to sleep at night. Definitely, focus on that. But I like your pod. I'm not gonna lie. I like Paul George's pod, and I'm
Yeah,
sure I'm sure his sponsors aren't too happy right now. Like, hey, bro, we agreed.
Hey, only get like 30. I say this again very humbly. I understand the small business we have here. I'm also not the starting three for the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't have the reach he has, but Brill, shout out to Brill. He was saying it was only getting like 13 to 15K views on the last like 4 or 5 episodes. Like that's pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Only 13, 14K on a YouTube hour-and-a-half video as Paul George, like um, that says a lot about where things are for Paul George and the Sixers this season. But I mean, hey, he signed for how much million? He'd be all right.
Yeah, no, a lot of them millions. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna hold you. A lot of them. June, you got anything else you want to go over before we get up out of here?
Couple things. I did want to shout out to my king, man. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Facts. 50K. Best to ever do it.
Only
Best to ever do
the
it.
only listen, bro. This is the to ever score 50,000 points in the regular season and the playoffs. All right, and we must acknowledge him as such. It's not about anybody else who did that. It's not about who might be better. And this is something no one has ever done for whatever reason. He
Facts.
would, he would find a way to do it. His name is LeBron James. He's from Akron, Ohio. He's playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and we get to watch him versus the number 3 team in the East this year. And hey, this is a test tonight for the Knicks. They're playing a 2 seed again. Can they beat them, or are they going to go 0-8? I don't know. That's all I got for NBA. But I did want to jump back into the NFL real quick, touch on a few more things, and then we get out of here.
Yeah.
Uh, Gary Payton Jr. and Zaire Williams got into a scuffle. Who cares about that? The Jaguars have cut Evan Ingram. This is the new GM in town.
Oh shit.
They also traded their wide receiver that they signed for big money last year, Christian Kirk, to the Texans for a 7th-round pick in 2026. This is coming after, I believe, the Texans were informed that Tank Dell is set to miss this season because he's going to have ACL surgery on it starting now. And I think after he blew his knee versus the Chiefs, I think his knee was just in such bad shape that it finally became healthy enough to do the operation for the ACL. So it killed a lot of time. I mean, it's been, 2.5 months or so since that
Yeah.
this day game, I think that was.
Yeah.
And he's finally able to get that rehab surgery, and that's going to take him out for the season. So Christian Kirk is a big addition to the wide receiver core that was that was once one of the deepest in the league, and now Stephon Diggs is a free agent. You know, Tank Dell draft pick is battling injuries throughout his career, it seems, and John Mechie, who they drafted out of Alabama, hasn't necessarily made an impact, or I want to say gotten his shot for real. So maybe this is a year that he can really try to come into his own with Nico Collins being the Pro Bowler that he is and taking all the attention over there. So just some NFL news before we get out of here. Uh, Commanders also re-signed Bobby Wagner for one more year. So I mean, it's pretty cool to see B Wag staying in the league and making sure he's keeping his body right for the season, because I think that he helped them immensely when it came down to big games and keeping the defense centered and keeping them aligned and everything they need to do. He's a guru on that side of the ball. So shout out to B Wags for this long career. I don't think I got anything else, brother.
Hey, I might mention this every part until it happens. Alex Ovechkin, he's just
Sheesh, a 7. Shout to Chico Gab, by the way. A 7, really. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, fucking
for
Christian Kirk for a
for
7.
Christian Kirk. Yeah,
Facts.
Alex Ovechkin broke his leg, missed 41 days. Since he came
Hey,
back, 28 games, 17 goals. I mean, Mans is just on a tear.
10
I
left, bruh.
I forgot who the player was. I was watching the clip, I think of the last game, maybe 2 games ago, where it was like a quick timeout. He was, kind of by the bench, and one of the other players from the team comes in and was like, "Yo, what they put in your knee, bro? Like, how did that? What did they put in your leg? How did that work? Like, 41 days for a broken leg is crazy." He
He said,
says,
I'm Russian.
"You want me to do?"
Russian don't cry.
Come on, man. So shout out to Ovi. Shout out to the Capitals. Shout out to those cherry blossom jerseys that they just put out.
Facts.
We talked about those. Those joints is fire. Definitely at the
Hey
top
man,
of.
my birthday is April 24th. If you're listening out there, any lovers of the pod, that Ovechkin Capitals jersey, man.
Cherry blossom
Send 2 of them.
specifically.
Fuck it. Me and
Yeah.
Cruz want one, man. Come on.
Hey, I told you, man. I'm gonna cop that, and I'm gonna get the Nationals cherry blossom one too. And
You
I'm
did
gonna
say
get.
that. I,
I'm
I I told you if they had a Juan Soto still, I probably fuck with it, but I don't know. You made a lot of money off Patrick Corbin. I ain't make shit off
gonna.
nothing about no Washington Nationals.
I would get a
I
Patrick
cop a
Corbin
fitted,
jersey.
bitch. I cop
That.
a fitted.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. My favorite
Oh,
shortstop in the game right now is C.J. Abrams. I'm not gonna lie. Homeboy's cold. So I might, if I don't
um,
get the Corbin, I'd probably get the C.J. Abrams jersey.
the Tokyo series that they're doing, uh, the MLB is like doing a Tokyo series. They got a Shohei Otani jersey with Otani in Japanese on the back, that Dodgers jersey. That shit is hard.
That's
And
tough.
so I might have to look into that one. And for all the anime fans out there, Demon Slayer, it seems to be one of the popular animes. I believe it's on Netflix. They are doing a collab with the MLB. So, hopefully we can grow the game and find new fans along the way through some sort of interesting collaborations with other companies.
June saying nice thoughts about anime, something I thought I would never see. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of
Shout
all
out to Blue.
ages, as we cross over this hour 3 mark, this has been your post NFL Combine All Things Sports podcast. If you tapped in on the live, shout out to Chico Gabe. Shout out to JBJ Walking Miracle. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you tapped in and didn't comment, it's all good. Tap into the comments next time, please. If you're tapping in after the fact, thank you for taking time out of your day. As always, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. ATS Pod, ATS Pod official on Instagram, ATS Pod on Twitter. We'll see y'all on Monday.